What's up everyone, this is Borra-mon, and we are back today to talk about another anime. Today we're going to be doing another first mid-season's impressions on the anime Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Now this anime's got a lot of big names behind it. The guy directing is Tetsuro Araki, who did Death Note and Attack on Titan. It's being produced by Wit Studio, who did Attack on Titan. The guy in charge of the script is Ichiro Okuchi, who did Code Geass. And the guy composing the music is Sawano Hiroyuki, who did I'll Know a Zero, Guilty Crown, Attack on Titan, and the video game Xenoblade Chronicles X. So a lot of big names behind this anime, and trust me, it really doesn't disappoint. This is a really good anime, and we're going to get into why I think it's a really good anime. So let's talk about animation. Now the animation in this is really good. Wit Studio did Attack on Titan beforehand, and one of the few things I praise about the Attack on Titan animation is the animation quality, and I actually think that they took it up a notch for Kabaneri, the Iron Fortress. The animation just has this certain polish to it that just makes it a step above the rest. One of the great things is the lighting. They just do such a good job, especially when you get into the more actiony battle scenes and everything, of creating this really good lighting, how it reflects off the characters, the environment, and how it creates the atmosphere that we're in and everything. It's just really good. And also the action scenes themselves, the battles, especially in episode 4, they had really good choreography for the action scenes, the battles and everything, and the animation was just really good. It reminded me of the battle scenes from Attack on Titan anime with the 3D maneuver gear, which was one of the best parts about the animation for Attack on Titan, was the way they choreographed the action scenes with the 3D maneuver gear and everything. And you see that kind of pop up a little bit with in episode 4 when they have the battle and everything. And man, it's really good. But especially like just the lighting and the quality on the designs and everything is just a really good job animating and everything. And it really makes it just it's really good. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out a little bit over the animation. It's good. The animation's top notch, and yeah, that's really all I had to say about that. So let's talk about soundtrack. Now the soundtrack is composed by Sawano Hiroyuki. He's done I'll Know a Zero, Attack on Titan, Guilty Crown, and the video game Xenoblade Chronicles X. I really like what he does with music. I love the soundtrack for I'll Know a Zero, Attack on Titan, Guilty Crown, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. I loved all those soundtracks. He does a really good job of creating music that suits whatever he's creating it for, whatever anime or whatever it is for, while also creating a new sound. One of the best ones to describe that with is I'll Know a Zero. He did a great way of, he created, sounds that suited the anime, but it was also new and original. It wasn't just like carbon copy of something else. It didn't get lost in the crowd. It was one of the standout things about that show. And that was the same thing for, Attack on Titan. One of the standout things, especially one of the things I liked about the anime, considering, for Attack on Titan, considering I had some mixed feelings about it, was the soundtrack, as well as Guilty Crown and the game Xenoblade Chronicles X. They were all really good. They created music that suited whatever world was being created within the anime or video game or whatever, while also creating a new sound that it was different, it was original, it stood out from the crowd, which is very important in creating an identity for a show or for really anything. When you have music that suits what it's for, you can have like crazy original music, but if it doesn't suit what you're making it for, then it's failed in its purpose. But if you can create something that suits the media you're making it for and is new and original, you've succeeded in being a step above the rest of the crowd, because it helps create an identity for whatever thing you're making it for, whatever show or story or whatever you're composing this music for. And in this anime, it does the same thing. It's great at creating the atmosphere. It suits this anime. It's an anime that's suspenseful and action filled and everything, and it suits it. He's composed music that suits that kind of anime. It's got anime that kind of starts getting you on the edge of your seat when there's like suspenseful things happening, whether it be particularly actiony or not, as well as creating just really awesome soundtracks for whenever the battles are taking place or emotional moments. And it's new and original. It stands out a bit, which it creates an identity for the show. One of the great things that will probably be remembered about this anime will be its soundtrack. And that's really great. I love this soundtrack. And if you can't tell, I'm also nerding out a little bit about the soundtrack as well. Basically, in general, I'm nerding out a little bit about this anime. I like it a lot. But yeah, so basically, the soundtrack is really good. Alright, so let's get into the scenario for this anime. Now, a lot of people have drawn correlations between Attack on Titan and this anime, and that was probably going to happen because the director, the studio, and the composer that were behind this anime also did Attack on Titan. So people were going to draw correlations between the two anyway. But this anime has a lot about it that I think sets it apart from Attack on Titan, and in my personal opinion, makes it better. So the scenario for this anime has two major parts to it. One is its steampunk setting. One of the things I love about steampunk settings is that they have a lot of aspects to them that allows you to create really interesting worlds. And this is very true for that anime. They took a lot of things from steampunk settings and everything. They take steam-powered trains, steam-powered environments, steam-powered weapons. And, that really helps create a really interesting atmosphere and world for this show. And the other major aspect of this anime are its enemies. They're called Kabaneri, and they are basically zombies. But what sets them apart from normal zombies are their anatomy. How they're, what they're made, their abilities and everything. They are fast, they're strong, and they have great, defensive measures. Their skin seems to be as hard as iron, which is great because there seems to be a bit of an iron theme throughout the show. And they also have this iron cage around their heart, because one of their weak points is their heart. I think you can also kill them by slicing off their heads, but one of the best ways to kill the Kabaneri is to pierce their heart. And that's one of the big things that we see in the first episode, is we have our main character trying to make a weapon that will pierce that iron cage around their heart and effectively kill Kabaneri. So they're really cool and interesting. And as the series progressed to where we are now, which at the time of this recording, episode 6 has come out, the Kabaneri have shown other traits as well. You have your normal Kabaneri, they're fast, they're strong, but they're not very smart. But you also have Kabaneri that, through survival, have learned how to fight. And you also have this, what's called a fused colony, where you have a Kabaneri that acts as the heart, and it brings other Kabaneri and kind of fuses it together into this massive, pile of just Kabaneri corpses and everything, and it moves as this giant entity. And so the Kabaneri have a lot of really interesting aspects and differences to them, and it's great to see how they integrate new, aspects to the enemies as this anime progresses to the end of the season. I'd love to see how the enemies evolve even more. Maybe we'll actually see an intelligent Kabaneri, although we all kind of already have, but a Kabaneri that's intelligent that fights on the side of Kabaneri, as opposed to someone like our main character who fights on the side of the humans. So all in all, the scenario for this anime is really cool and interesting. You can draw correlations between it and Attack on Titan. It's got the post-apocalyptic setting. They've got the enemies of humanity. Even the stations they stop at might remind you of the city in Attack on Titan. But this anime is very much its own story, right? It's got the steampunk setting, which creates a different world from Attack on Titan, and the characters are very different and everything. Even if the main character also has the power of the enemy similar to Attack on Titan, the characters are their own. The world is its own, and it's its own anime. People can draw the correlations between the two, but I like to treat it as its own anime and its own scenario, and it's very good. It's cool, it's interesting, it's original, because I haven't really seen steampunk done a lot. So the scenario for this anime is very, very nice, very cool. I like it. So now let's talk about our characters. Now the characters in this anime are interesting, and they also have very good development. It progresses at a natural rate. It's not too slow, not too fast, and they are better off for it. So our main character is called Ikoma, and one of the main aspects about his character is that he's driven. From the very first episode, we see him developing a weapon that can pierce the iron cage around the Kabaneri's heart and kill them. He's got a goal, he's working towards it. It's something we as the audience can get behind, and that makes him a very good protagonist, especially in the the type of anime that this is. It's suspenseful, it's action filled. For a driven main character is very good for that type of anime. Now, I really don't have much to say about any particular quirks or not, because that's really the main thing about his character, is that he's driven. He's got a goal he's working towards. He's got he's got ethics and everything. In the first episode, he defended a man that he didn't believe was a Kabane. You know, he doesn't want to give in to fear, right? And that's a great thing, and that's one of the great things about his character, is the fact that he doesn't want to lose his humanity to the fear of the Kabane, which is a great lesson. Just because we fear something doesn't mean that we have to let that fear change us. We don't have to let the fear consume us and make us something that we aren't really. Right? We don't have to let the fear take over us and change us into something, to someone we don't want to be. And I like that message, and I like that that's kind of the center of his morals, right? You know, it's a little ironic that he doesn't want to lose his humanity, since he sort of loses a bit of that humanity when he becomes a Kabaneri, you know, a half between a Kabane and a human. But that also makes it a bit more poignant. As someone who is not even entirely human, he doesn't want to lose his humanity to the fear of the Kabane. And that is really powerful. You know, that and the how driven he is, you know, in that sort of, you know, message he carries behind him, makes him a very cool protagonist, something an audience can get behind. So I have a few other characters that I want to talk about. The first one is Mume. She's one of our heroines, and she's kind of a badass. That's kind of her thing. She's quirky, she's badass, and she's also shares the same fate as our protagonist. She's also a Kabaneri. She's kind of how we, and she's also a bit of source of information, since she's an outside figure to the rest of the people who all come from the same station and everything. She's got a bit more information on Kabane and everything, and as she's the one who kind of explains the different breeds of Kabane that they encounter as we've gotten up to where we are now in the anime. You know, she explained about the one that has experienced fighting, as well as the fused colony, that's that massive collection of Kabane and everything. So she's she's, you know, that kind of character, you know, quirky, badass and everything. And she's also one of those where she, you know, she's learning how to be happy in traveling with the people on the train and everything. And in the most recently, we've seen her have major character development in the past couple episodes. At first, I was a little like, seriously, we're going this way again? It's like, she meets a character from her past, and all of a sudden she's got to go back to being that hard-boiled, no emotion feeling, you know, badass and everything. And I'm just like, I've seen that done a lot, and sometimes it's an annoying character arc, you know, and predictably, you know, she went too far, she got into a bad situation and everything, but luckily, where we are now, she's learned to get past it and everything. So she's had major character development in the past 2 episodes, and even though, you know, it's kind of a been done before character development, worked out really well for a character. I like her a lot more now as a character, and I have so she is a great heroine, like her a lot. So our other heroine is Ayame. She's kind of the leader of the normal humans and everything. Her father was the lord of the station that everyone comes from. And so now that he's gone, she has to fill in the leadership role. And what I like about her is that she is, you know, she's compassionate, she's understanding. And as the series has progressed to where we are now, she's starting to grow into that leadership role, right? We get to see bits and pieces of character development for her over the episodes and everything, and she started to become a bit more confident in her leadership abilities and her decisions and everything, and so she's really coming to her own, becoming a very strong character. And the big thing I like is that she is understanding, she's compassionate, she doesn't give into the fear of the Kabane as much as, you know, some of the other people, right? She's one of the few people that, you know, wants to give our main character and Mume the benefit of the doubt, and, you know, since she saw them save them and everything, she looks at what they've done, not that they are part Kabane, and that's what I like. You know, she looks past, you know, the more superficial things, you know, that they're, you know, yeah, they might not be entirely human anymore, but they fought for everyone. They fought against the Kabane. They've saved them, and I like that about her. She's compassionate, she's understanding, she's growing into a leadership role, so she's also a very good, strong character. Now, there's a couple other characters. We have Ayame's right-hand man, Kurusu, who's, you know, very much a samurai. I didn't like him at first. He was a bit too much of a hard-ass, but after, you know, where we are now, he's a bit more likable, right? Basically, you know, he was very much against our main character and Mume because they were part Kabane. You know, he gave in to that fear and everything, but now he's, you know, gotten past that. He's starting to look at, like, their, you know, what they've done and everything, similar to Ayame, right? They've proven themselves time and time again that they're fighting for humans and they're not just Kabane. So he's a bit more likable now. and he serves as a good, kind of a sometimes a voice of reason for Ayame. He's a good supporter for Ayame, right? Because every good leader needs good supporters as well. So he plays that role very well. He's also a very strong fighting force too. He's probably the strongest among the normal humans. And the last character I want to talk about is a bit more of a minor character. He's Takumi, our main character's best friend. And what I like about him is that he's such a bro. He's such a bro. He's such a good friend to Takumi. Even though in the very beginning, when our main character was first going through his little transformation to our half human, half Kabaneri, he was a bit, he had that moment where he was scared and everything, but he quickly overcame that because that's his friend, right? That's his friend. He can't just cast aside his friend. And from there, he's just become a super awesome character. He's just a really, really good friend to our main character. I really like really cool, characters like that are just really good friends to our main character and everything. They are a great support. They're a great support pillar for the main character and everything. And so I like him a lot. He's a great character to have. He hasn't had a ton of character development aside from overcoming his fear of the Kabaneri to be the best friend he can be for our main character. But I expect that we'll probably see some more character development from him as the episodes progress. So all in all, we have some interesting characters here. They've had some good development so far. And I'm interested to see how they develop with the rest of the series, right? So the characters, they're good. That's all I really have to say about it. So all in all, basically, this anime, it's really good. The animation's great. The soundtrack's really good. The scenario's interesting and original. And the characters have good development. And, they're just interesting to watch. This whole anime is just interesting and really cool to watch. I recommend it to everyone. That's honestly, that's really all I have to say. It's great. I love it. So you guys let me know down in the comments what you thought about this anime. Did you enjoy it or not? And if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to me for more videos. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Oh wow. Okay. This is better. I like this better. Oh my god, they're moving together. This is like, ooh.